this is my Toro 48-inch walk behind. That's my impact drill. Porter Cable's the brand. Pretty inexpensive. I don't remember how much it was, but I was just looking for something that would work, that would give enough torque for me to change my blades properly and make sure that they're on there securely. So whatever the torque was recommended for these blades is what the impact wrench, impact drill is good for. But so anyway, I just wanted to show how I clean under my deck and change my blades. I usually do it all at the same time.
I'm sorry, that scare you?
A few times throughout the summer, I will go to a self-service car wash down the road from me, and I won't change the blades there because I don't have my impact drill cordless. I didn't want to spend the extra money to get cordless, so I just will clean out the deck. I'll scrape out the deck, which is a little more careful so you don't cut yourself with the blades, especially if they're still pretty sharp and everything. But it's just easier for me to scrape everything out and then blast it, blast under the deck with the power washer and just spray down, all the mud and stuff off of the top of the mower too, just to give it a cleaning. I recommend, I think anyway, you should do that, every so often, depending on how muddy the conditions are, just so your mower stays clean and it looks nice, especially if you have some of those higher end customers or neighborhoods. You don't want to pull a dirty, muddy, looking mower off of your trailer and go on someone's nice looking yard with it. So even if you don't clean the deck 100%, if you just give the top, a nice spray and kind of get some of the mud and junk off of the tires and off of around the mower, then at least it looks nicer. No one's really going to know what it looks like under the deck, but still, it's not going to work as efficiently if you don't clean under your deck. So it's important in the springtime now, especially where the grass is super high and it's raining so much, so everything's wet, can be muddy, etc. So it's going to build up a lot under your deck really quickly. So you should definitely do this at least once, if not twice a week. So I take my blades off when I can first, and then I go, as you see, and I just scrape all this out with a putty knife or flathead screwdriver or whatever you have and want to use. But those are the things that I recommend. And I prop it up on those Home Depot buckets like you see, but there's all kinds of different ways you can do different things. You can get a car jack, from your car and just jack it up that way and do it if you want, or whatever. So obviously, like zero turns and things are a little too heavy to be lifting up the front by yourself and propping it up on anything. So you want to get a jack from a car, or you can just buy one specifically for your mower, things like that, and jack it up and do it that way. Everyone's got their own preference and depends on what kind of machine you have, but this is what I do for my walk behind. I prop it up and then I scrape everything out after I take the blades off. And then I always have a new set of sharp blades in my garage ready to go. And I just put those on, and then I throw the old ones in my truck. And then next time I'm at my dealer, which is usually at least once a week, picking up something, I'll just give them the blades and they'll just sharpen them real quick. Takes them a couple of minutes, and then I'm done. Then I put those back in my garage, and I'm all set for the next time. I'm changing them. So I don't bother sharpening my blades just because it's just one less thing I want to worry about. Want to make sure I don't, I'm sure eventually I'll get into that, but right now, being so new and all and everything, and I have a lot of work, a lot of customers, it's just one less thing I want to worry about. Just want to let the professionals just go ahead and, you know, sharpen them up real quick, and they're all nice and balanced, and I know it's going to be perfect. Now I don't have to worry about it. I take them off and give it to them so that it's quicker and easier, and they charge you less rather than just giving them your mower and then they got to take them off themselves and sharpen them. They charge more for that. So that's just what I do. I recommend sharpening your blades at least once a week, if not more, depending on how much cutting you're doing and what the conditions are. So especially now in the spring, you want to do it as often as possible. But in the summer, when it dries out and the grass isn't growing so much and you're only cutting off a tiny bit at a time, your blades aren't going to get dull as quickly, and your deck's not going to get all caked up as much either, unless you just are cutting right after a big storm or something, and the grass or the weeds are really wet and a little thick. So So you just kind of change your routine as you go through the season depending on what the needs are. So this is just what I do. Just wanted to share it. I just did it a little while ago. I'm going to do it again. But like I said, sometimes I go to the self-service car wash so I can blast under here after I scrape it all out, and it gives it a nice clean, refreshing look. And any weed seeds or anything that might be stuck up in the cracks and crevices should get blasted out. And I say that because I do have some yards that are almost nothing but weeds, and then I have a lot of yards that are really nice, and people spend a lot of money to have it taken care of by whatever company they have, fertilizing and maintaining, their yard all year long, and they just want me to cut it and stripe it and make it look nice so they don't have to deal with it over the weekends. And sometimes they'll do the gardening and light pruning and stuff themselves, or they'll have me do that too. But I don't want to mess up their yard with someone else's weeds, by collecting some of the weed seeds, especially when you get into those thick, high, weedy yards, and the seeds are going to get stuck all up in there when it's wet. And then you go onto a nice yard, and all of a sudden it kicks out a chunk here and there, and it just settles down into that nice yard, and eventually they're going to get weeds. I mean, it's just inevitable. So you're not obviously not going to wash your mower, clean it out after every yard, but what I try and do is I try and get my weedy yards together, or save those till the end of my day, so that I can get the nicer yards first, and then go to the not so nice yards and get those out of the way, and then I'll clean my mower after that, or the next day, so that I can continue my week with a nice clean mower and not have to worry about spreading any germs, really is what it is, spreading any weed seeds in some of these really nice yards, because that's an integrity and a professionalism. Just something else to think about when you have a mix of different kinds of yards. So here you see I'm just finishing everything up. I did a decent job scraping. I didn't get too carried away. Again, like I said, I'm going to go to the car wash and blast under there and get it nice and clean. I also, I know some people put used motor oil up under there. There's a silicone spray, Liquid Wrench I believe is the brand that I found at Home Depot or Lowe's, and I just spray some of that under there, and it gives it like a nice little shield, so everything scrapes off a lot easier and doesn't actually collect under there as much. So I also do that, but I didn't have any left for this video to do that. But right here you see I put all 3 blades back on with the impact wrench. Important to try and keep all the blades generally in the same direction, and make sure they're on there nice and tight. So with the impact wrench, you're just going to make sure that you wait for a couple of clicks here and there, and then that should be more than enough for it to be on there tight. And there you see, here's the mess that I left. I just scoop that up with a shovel and chuck it in a garbage bag and sweep off the rest, and then I'm all set.